Hickies Music. My name is Russ.
And I'm Duncan.
And today we're going to be shooting at two pretty sweet Gretsches.
Yeah, we're going to be shooting out the Gretsch Electromatic series versus the Gretsch Streamliner. And is it worth the extra £500?
Because there is quite a significant difference between the two, right?
There is, yeah.
So today I've got this handsome gent
Yeah.
right here. And it's the G5422 with all of the tasty gold hardware.
I love
we'll go
the
through
gold
some
hardware
specs
on
in a
that
second.
thing.
What are you rocking over there?
Yep, so I've got this Gretsch G2622T.
In a delicious, like,
yeah, it's in like
green.
a racing green with all the silver hardware as well on that, but still, it's got a big speed, which is nice.
It has indeed. So shall I take you through some stuff?
Yep, go ahead.
So I'll take you through some specs. So this one's quite tasty.
Yep.
I mean, Gretsch guitars are quite simple in terms of their specifications, really.
Yeah.
Got a five-piece maple body, and obviously a maple neck with a rosewood fingerboard. And it's made in Korea, this one, which is different, I believe, to yours.
Yeah, it is.
But an interesting design feature that you don't see much on like mid-price point guitars is the fact that it's all gold hardware.
Yeah, it's nice.
Which
it
is really
brings
cool.
out the guitar,
I am such a sucker for gold hardware. Like, I do love some gold hardware. And of course, it's got some classic Filtertrons in the electric slot.
It does.
And they sound great.
That makes all the difference.
I mean, that's the archetypal classic Gretsch sound. So that's pretty awesome. And of course, just your standard sound kind of Gretsch controls, really. And yeah, it's awesome. I think it's when this came into the store, everybody was kind of like, ooh, hello.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing which they kind of changed for the Electromatic series as well, I think it was last year, 2017.
Headstock.
Yeah, it was. They used to have the Electromatic on the headstock, which then didn't look like kind of the real Gretsches, but they changed that and it actually looks really nice now.
I think the only place where that is actually identifiable on this guitar is the scratch plate.
Yeah.
And you can barely see it.
And you can take that off.
not that we're promoting such unscrupulous behaviour. But if you were to look at this at first glance, with the gold hardware as well, you'd be like, that is a tasty Gretsch.
It is a nice looking guitar.
So give me 2 seconds and I'll take you through some tones.
Yeah.
So I've got a clean channel on the mighty Boss Katana.
The one
50.
and only amp.
I mean, our kind of backline since we started this show kind of shrank, right?
Yeah.
Like when we started, we were like big tube amps, like Bass Breaker and Fender, like.
Yeah.
And now we're on mini Hughes and Kettner, mini Boss Katana.
Yeah.
But hey, it does the job incredibly well. So this is on the clean channel, not the acoustic channel, but the clean channel, with barely any gain on it, so to speak. So on the neck position to start off with.
Nice crisp sound.
Yeah, I mean it's like really good for like those jazzy kind of chords, but also the open chords sound really nice too.
And I love the pickups as well. I've got those same pickups in my Telecaster.
Because you have a Cabronita, right? They're cool. They are very cool. But yeah, like sounds nice and full and ringy. And the tremolo's nice.
Yeah.
Like I've got more of a fondness for big speakers as I've got older. I used to dislike them, but now I think they're really cool. Actually, they're that classic kind of sound.
They are nice.
It's
a very subtle touch.
So that was that position. Then I've got your middle position.
They really are good for clean sounds.
Yeah, they clean up really nicely. They clean up very, very nicely. And now I've got my bridge, right? So. Quite cool.
Nice.
Spangly. I prefer the middle position in the neck for the clean. I think that makes it a bit more kind of there. This is it on a crunchier kind of setting.
I really do like this pickup for classic rock. It is so good.
Well, we were messing around with some AC/DC tunes before this started, and it was absolutely awesome. And obviously, like, your lead sound on this. Enough sustain to get you there.
Nice sustain as well, yeah.
Not like enough bite. Like I sometimes think with the Trons, because I'm like a classic humbucker man. Like, will it give me enough like grunt?
Yeah.
But actually, it sounds awesome, and I think a perfect combo with proper humbuckers.
Right, so to take you through the specs on this in comparison to yours, I have got a laminated maple body.
Nice.
I have actually got a spruce center block to this one, just because it is a slightly different style guitar. Still got a licensed Bigsby on it, which is nice for the Streamliner series. So for about £400 or £500, you can still get a licensed Bigsby, which is good. I've got these kind of quite jumbo center blocks
compared to my humps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They definitely
beefy,
stand
man.
out. They are, yeah.
I like those a lot. They're cool.
Nice thing with it as well. I mean, you don't have anything on the headstock as well, saying Streamliner, so you still get just this plain kind of Gretsch headstock, which is really nice. But one criticism which I'll kind of say about it, which I don't like, is I don't really like the control knobs. I'd much rather have the Gretsch style classic control knobs rather than these kind of gold ones. They're kind of like see-through gold. As well as that, we have also got some Broadtron pickups in here. So these are a little bit more like a humbucker rather than the Filtertrons.
The classic filters, yeah. But I think that the interesting thing that you've mentioned is some aesthetic stuff though.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this is going for like the classic Gretsch, because it's got these massive F-holes. I think these are actually bigger than they should be too.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
With the classic humps and like the gold tuners and stuff. With yours, it's got a much more contemporary vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
And I actually like your Rover style kidneys.
Yeah, yeah. So you haven't got the kind of more vintage style tuners on this. You've got more, your more contemporary style tuners.
But yeah, the control stuff with Gretsch is really interesting, because you've got on mine the classic G.
Yeah, if I were to have this guitar, I would change out the control knobs for something like that. It would just be an aesthetics thing, but I would change it straight out for that.
So in terms of like what you're actually getting for your extra value for money then, different build location.
Yes, yeah, so this is made in Indonesia.
Yeah.
Rather than the Korean factory.
And of course the wood is also different.
And it is, yeah. I mean, the fact that you've got a laminated maple rather than solid maple.
Which I think does have a subtle change of the sound.
It does, yeah.
And gold hardware is cool.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
that's
gold
a big
hardware's
expense.
expensive, man.
Yeah.
Like really expensive.
Anyone out there who's ever tried kind of like converting their actual, say like a Strat or Telly or anything like that into gold hardware knows it's expensive.
It's impossible on a Les Paul. That like costs hundreds of pounds. I've been there.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll take you through some sounds so you can hear what this sounds like. So I'll start off on just the bridge pickup, and I'm taking you through the Houston Kettner. This is like a little Tube Meister.
It does feel a lot bassier. Like,
yeah,
I think that comes
there's
from
a little
the
bit
bass,
more
from the pickups.
in there. Not as crisp in terms of kind of. It's more. It's very minimal difference. I would feel it more on that in terms of the crispness. That sounds weird feeling the sound, but I would feel it more on that. But they have got a little bit more kind of bass in this one. Cool. So I'll take you through the middle pickup on this.
there's definitely a difference.
Definitely a difference.
Like at this point, I can really hear a difference. Like putting the two on together.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. Not necessarily worse though, just different.
Yeah. Yeah. Is it the £500 difference? We will soon start find out. Right, and I'll take you through the neck pickup as well.
See, now I really like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really liked your neck pickup sound.
It's a really nice kind of warm sound, but it's got the right kind of buying crispness to it.
Does the job.
Does. That it does.
So, comparing and contrasting at the end then, mate. £500 difference. I've got, you know, like, would you think the difference is worth it for the money?
It's quite a hard one, because the things I knew when Gretsch, the Electromatic series was like, what, £600?
Yeah.
And these were kind of more your 300. Now I know prices on all guitars have increased.
God, yeah, do you remember when we did our first video, flashback?
Yeah.
That was like 350.
They were, yeah. Yeah.
Whoa!
So it is like,
wow, yeah, geez. Ooh.
Prices have jumped up. When you're looking at about £900 or something like that, you start weighing up like what you could get on the other hand. But there again, I know how great Gretsch's are. In terms of like, even though it's Electromatic, there's nothing wrong with that at all. And I know plenty of people who use the Electromatic series to kind of gig with, tour with, record everything.
They kind of feel to me like they are the industry standard kind of Gretsch guitar, really.
Yeah.
Because like the upper Gretsch guitars, like I don't know really that many people that have one, but I know a lot of people that have the Matics.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, there's no shade from the community for having one of those because they're really great guitars. Like, it's not like if you rocked up with like a, like, you know, like I don't know, say an Epiphone or a Squier, people would think, oh, necessarily like, or where, you know, where's the Fender or where's the Gibson? With the Electromatic, I think it's presumed that it's fine. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's more than adequate.
Yeah, yeah.
And
definitely.
like, and it's really interesting comparing these two guitars because they're very different, actually.
They are.
That's what I like. I think, if I'm honest, that if I could combine both your and mine guitars into a perfect guitar, we'd be there. I love your neck sound. I prefer the treble and middle position of this and how it bites.
I mean, to be honest, in conclusion, kind of like with me, if I had the money, I would go for the Electromatic.
Yeah.
If I was starting guitar, or I was looking at kind of like my second guitar, seeing as this Streamliner is in the same price range as your Epiphones, your kind of maybe...
If not a bit cheaper.
Yeah, and maybe your kind of more Mexican Strats and Tellies and things like that, I would much rather have this.
I would too. I actually would too.
It's really nice. Like I said, I'll change the control knobs. You know, there's little aesthetic things which I'll change out of it. But if I could compare them both, I would stick with the Electromatic.
So this, to compare it to other guitars in its range, like you did with yours, this is fighting with the PRSs.
It is, yeah.
Which is interesting, because now when I think about that, I think that is a hell of a value for money guitar. I think we would all aspire to have a really cool guitar, but this is fighting in its realm for like bigger competitive piece than that. That kind of kills everything at its price point, right? Whether this, you have to go, oh! Saying that, having a whole guitar with gold hardware with a Bigsby,
it does look the part.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Because that alone is like hundreds of pounds worth of hardware, right? And the pickups are cool, and the whole look of it is very old school.
Yeah, yeah.
So it will have its fans, and that's what I love about the Gretsch community is that like. I mean, I've never been a massive Gretsch fan, but those who love Gretsch guitars love Gretsch guitars.
Yeah.
They're really passionate about Gretsch's, and like this is bound to appeal to like that community in a massive way.
Definitely.
I mean, let us know what you think, man, because like when this came in, we thought this was a surefire hit for any Gretsch fan.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the whole reason why I brought it into the shop. It's just it looked the part. That's all.
Even I kind of went, ooh.
Definitely stands out.
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for joining us today. Let us know what you think below.
Yeah, because we've seen in the comment section, especially on some of the other Gretsch videos we've done, there's a lot of you out there who do like the Gretsch guitar.
Yeah,
it's nice to kind of see what you guys think about this.
Well, everyone loves your Streamliner vids.
Definitely.
You take care, everyone, alright?
See you guys in the next one.